It's production time. I'm Reid Stefan, realest puppet in the game. And this is how to mix 808s in Ableton 12. This reminds me of the license plate rattling off the trunk of a car, and the fact that this is in a plugin and you can add it to your 808 is insane. I'm sharing all of my favorite stock audio effects, processing techniques, and mixing tips and tricks that I use to process 808s in 3 different genres. We're going to be going through the session of a pop song, a dance production, and a hip-hop beat to highlight my favorite ways to bring out the best in the 808 of each different style. And as always, I'm going to be using disrespectful 808s in all of these tracks, but more on that later. Let's get into the first session. A lot of times my go-to solution is almost hidden in plain sight. Right here in the filter of your sampler in Ableton, you actually have a built-in distortion circuit. Now I really like the OSR circuit, and listen to what happens as I bring up the drive. Hey, let's bring the vocals back in.
Why you focus on the yesterday? Negativity should be illegal. Our religion is to love and coexist. I'm sticking with it, Swedish fish.
Or if you want something really gritty, MS2.
I'ma thread the needle. Best off, baby, I'm on the road. Can nobody stop the feeling? Aura shine like diamonds and gold.
I like OSR a lot.
Come on, you could take a ride.
And without it,
to the top of the world. Put a little back into it.
a little gain.
None of us know what we're doing, so we gon' keep on dancing through it.
Just a tiny little bit of drive really brought this sample that already sounded good to life. And if you want a technical description of what all these different circuits are, if you hit the information panel here in Ableton and hover your mouse over it, you can get a full breakdown of what each little acronym means. But honestly, I never even read this stuff. I always just thought OSR sounded nice. This is my go-to recommendation for just adding a little thump and bump. And of course, combining filtering with the drive just really helps focus your 808 in the low end. And let's say your 808 is already flattened to audio, but you wanted to take advantage of this fantastic option. It's also available here inside the AutoFilter plugin. They've merged the exact same circuitry and options.
Fuck drama, get low. Talk to me, no phone. Nirvana, we're home. No time for no evil. Fuck money, get low.
Let's move on to the hook, where we have a whole different approach to processing our 808 setup. And what we've done here combines 2 of my favorite 808 processing ideologies into one. Number 1 is using guitar pedals. If you've ever watched this channel before, you know I love pedal plugins, real pedals, or anything that emulates a guitar pedal. So the stock pedal plugin in Ableton 12 is an absolute yes. But what we did to take it to the next level, we paired it up with some filtering to target where the distortion lies in the frequency spectrum. We're not just distorting the entire signal. Let me show you what I mean. Boom. As you can see, this high frequency automation is really helping it morph. So as the pitch bends down, the filter opens up. That's a really advanced version of this trick. You could very easily just do something static, which is what I see a lot of mixing engineers do when they're focusing on low end. And let's just bypass this moving automation. And a lot of times people take their distortion and just simply put it in a certain range of the frequency spectrum. So you're putting a filter after the distortion. And without it, and back on. One of the other reasons I love the stock pedal plugin here in Ableton 12 is you get 3 different flavors of distortion. Anytime you could switch between different algorithms at the click of a button, I am all for it. So having overdrive, distortion, and fuzz is like the best of all 3 worlds if you're a fan of rock and roll distortions or guitar pedals or anything from that palette. So for this song, we really liked the distort algorithm. It kind of intensifies as you go to the right. Fuzz is the most extreme. Let's put the frequency filter back on. You can really hear it when the filter opens up. Whereas distort's just a little more chill. And don't forget, when you're using the pedal plugin to process your 808s, always enable the sub button so that it lets more of your low end through. That's my combination of both guitar pedal distortion and filtering. The stuff that really carries your bass in the smaller speakers lives between here and here. Let's hear it all with the vocals.
Fuck drama, get low. Talk to me, no phone. Nirvana, we're home. No time for no.
Bring in all the bass.
Fuck money, get low. Talk to me, no phone. Nirvana, we're home. No time for no evil.
Even just low cutting alone, like the automation that you just heard at the beginning of that hook, creates contrast. So just filtering your 808 alone can create a really cool effect. But that's just a little bonus tip. Let's move on to a more electronic, kind of house style 4-to-the-floor production. Again, very 808 driven, a perfect example to show some mixing and processing techniques on.
You have been waiting so long, I'm here to answer your call.
Let's take the vocals down for now, and let's talk about processing just this 808 first. One of my go-to plugins for as long as I've been using Ableton is the Saturator. And Saturator is cool because it gives you different clipping curve options, but I'm always such a huge fan of analog clip. But always make sure that you're reducing the output around the same amount you're reducing the input. Just a little bit is all you need. Get saucy quick. We can clip it too, just to make sure that it doesn't go above 0. Hey. This is a kind of effect I might have come in when the rest of the drums come in. When it's just the 808 by itself in the intro, it might not need this extra juice. Automation is a big part of processing 808, so let's turn our saturation on when the rest of the drums kick in. If you're listening in big speakers, this probably sounds full, but if you're listening through a phone or a laptop or anything small, you might just be hearing the attack of the kick on top of this. And as a mixer, that's an issue that I'm trying to fix. One of the greatest drum plugins in Ableton is very conveniently named Drums Bus, and even though we're just putting this on the 808, Drums Bus is a fantastic 808 processing plugin because just like Saturator, it gives you a ceiling so that you can be aggressive without being overly loud and eating the rest of your mix. Let's try hard. Very full all of a sudden. We can even boost the transients, get more kick out of our 808. Or you could be real disrespectful with it and crunch it. And without it. Oh, gone. There we go. One more time, off and on. Let's turn it off. Drums Bus is the sauce. But as you could see, some good sample selection with some tasteful processing is all it takes to have your 808 just feel correct in your mix. Finally, let's kick it up a notch and open up a hip-hop production where we can dial in some really disrespectful settings. This third session is a song I produced called Tapped In by McCoy featuring KARRA, and it again starts with an 808 and uses that same filtering trick I mentioned earlier to create some contrast between the intro and the actual bass of the song.
What it is, I don't tap dance, thumbing through $100 grand, $1 million man, so fly, oh my, yeah, I'm tapped in, for the culture, no love for a funk.
All bark, no bite.
Here in Ableton 12, we have a brand new plugin called Roar, and this is my new sauce. So what I love about the Roar plugin is it focuses on routing right off the bat. I love having some distortions in parallel, some distortions in serial, not to mention the tone and drive sound amazing on this plugin.
What it is, I don't tap dance, thumbing through $100 grand, $1 million man, so fly, oh my, yeah, I'm tapped in, for the culture, no love for a funk.
All bark, no bite. Don't believe the hype. Got the kundalini.
You get multiple stages of distortion and shaping.
In the eyes, dripping, I'm so fly. They're blowing up my phone, you know why?
But maybe that's too disrespectful or too different from what you wanted or what you originally started out with. Maybe you're mixing somebody else's song and you can't be that crazy or heavy-handed with it. That's what Parallel's for.
What it is, I don't tap dance, thumbing through $100 grand, $1 million man, so fly.
50/50 is perfect for this.
For the culture, no love for a funk.
All bark, no bite. Don't believe the hype.
So many different clipping shapers.
First class in a flight. Champagne in the eyes. Dripping, I'm so fly. They're blowing up my phone, you know why?
And the clipping shapers adjust how the curve behaves, and they're not all static, as you can see. Shards, noise injection.
What it is, I don't tap dance, thumbing through $100 grand, $1 million man, so
Let's turn it off. Oh my God, I love the noise shaper. Instant high frequency content, instant mid-range content, without even having to make it louder, without having to change the dynamics of it or turn your 808 into a sausage. I love that. And of course you can control it with a filter. Maybe you want the noise to be just high frequency noise. That is just grimy without it. Back on. And if you want to get even more disrespectful, they have fold-back modes and compression that you can add post-distortion if you really want the sound in your face. You can even do mid-side here, add some stereo width to an 808 that really should be mono, but it's just the fizz and the crunch that's stereo. I love that. So let's have it pull this down and have it be all sides. And that's what we're adding on the sides. And then we could take this, put it in parallel by hitting Command G, create a dry chain. This reminds me of the license plate rattling off the trunk of a car. And the fact that this is in a plugin and you can add it to your 808 is insane.
What it is, I don't tap dance,
Hey.
thumbing through $100 grand, $1 million man, so fly, oh my, yeah, I'm tapped in, for the culture, no love for a funk.
All bark, no bite. Don't believe the hype. Got the kundalini eye. First
Got it.
class in a flight. Champagne in the eyes.
With
Dripping,
it.
I'm so fly. They're blowing up my phone, you know why?
Let's copy the same processing rack down here onto this 808. So, because in the hook, this 808 switches up, but I want the same processing.
Tapped in, I'm tapped in, do it bigger than your top 10.
Without it.
I'm tapped in, I'm tapped in, checking for me cause
Sounds good, but
I'm tapped in. I'm tapped in.
ooh, that sounds better.
Better than your top 10. I'm tapped in. I'm tapped in.
tapped in, yeah.
So this thing is just a distortion flavor monster. Things that you would never normally be able to do with a distortion or saturation plugin, all here inside of Roar in Ableton 12. I love it. So there you have it, all of my favorite 808 processing plugins and techniques here inside of Ableton 12. If you want to get your hands on the 808s that I use to produce all three of these different genres of music and so much more, I'll put links to disrespectful 808s in the description below and catch you guys next time in another tutorial.